You have stumbled upon or perhaps intentionally ended up here at my podcast, Actual Leigh. No matter the path that led you here, I hope that you will hang out and join me for a truly enjoyable conversation. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Actual Leigh. I hope you guys had a good week. We are here with Jeremy, also known as UndeadPapa, on pretty much everywhere, right? That's just kind of
Pretty
your
much everywhere. Yeah,
yeah.
the only oddball is Instagram and Threads where it's UndeadPapa 519 because somebody with a basically a dead account has UndeadPapa. I'm just like, really? Everywhere
No.
else but that one.
I hate that.
It's all right. I got everywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. I have a handle that's not my like the one that I use on a lot of stuff now, but the one I started using in my teens. And the only time I ever find it is if I forgot I made an account there. So it's, you
Yeah.
know, because it's a combination of my first and last name. So but I mean it could happen eventually, but
I
yeah.
have had so many different handles over the years. Like I had, like early on. I mean, you're the same age as I am, I think.
I think I don't know, how old are you?
I just turned 50.
Yeah, I'm turning 50 in December.
Oh, see, there you go. So,
Yeah.
no, it's like so back at the dawn of the internet, I had this I thought I was cool because I had Skywalker 519 and I'm going. I eventually looked at it and went, that is entirely too nerdy. If I'm going to have any kind of social media, I really don't want that. So
I
then I
mean,
changed it. I was dead smiley 519 for a while, and then I finally landed on Undead Papa, and I think that's the one that's gonna stick.
yeah. Yeah, it's easy to remember. I'm not good with
Hmm.
names, so the fact that I can remember it is pretty good.
Yep.
My first handle, because I've been online, I was on BBSs before the World Wide Web and all that, and so my first handle was Fred, and it just kind of that was like my handle for many years. And when I started going to the meets where the local BBSers and stuff, they all expect me to be a dude, and
Yeah.
I'd show up and they're like, they expected me to be an adult too, because like I
Right.
I was very advanced with my language and I love to get into conversations like picking stuff apart and discussing stuff. So they weren't expecting like a 14-year-old
Yeah, I
teenage
got that a lot. I
female.
got that a
But I
lot
was
too.
also like, I had like I just come in and a non-conforming and just be like, fuck you. Like so
No, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Yeah, no, I mean, in the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, with mid 80s when I got our first Intel based or x86 based PC. And it had no hard drive, two 5-inch floppy drives. The monitor was proprietary to the system, so you could not put a new
yeah.
monitor on it. It was ridiculous. It was
Yeah, we had a
ridiculous.
Tandy 1000EX. It was a dual
Oh,
floppy, and I ran
yeah.
my BBS from that. And so I'd have to like, I had like DOS in one, and then I had the BBS in the other, and it was like this whole thing. And you could hear like when people logged in because it would be accessing the drive,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
know.
Oh, you know what though? The noise thing, I think I got you beat. I had an Atari before this. I had an Atari computer that ran off of what looked like audio cassettes, and it hooked up to a television. And then it came with a printer, but I was only allowed to print during certain hours of the day because
Was
it
it
was
like a dot matrix?
a daisy wheel.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and this thing was, I mean, when I was printing something, it was like somebody had a machine gun in my room. It was just, and that thing moved so fast. My parents, like within, I think a week of me having that computer, they were like, okay, you can't print after like 8 o'clock at night, and you can't print before 9 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
because it would wake up the whole house. It was wake up the whole house. But I loved it. The fact that it was in my room was even better.
I don't know, for some reason it made me wonder, like I'll have to look this up. There's probably no information, but I'm curious what the sound is on that versus a braille printer. Because
Mm,
I used to work at the accommodations office at Stanford University, and I did like braille and stuff. And so like if you wanted to do like tactile graphics or print out like braille sheets, you have to use this printer that basically puts dots into the paper, right? And
right.
it had like soundproofing built into the printer, to help with the noise and stuff in the room. So I wonder which one's louder.
Yeah, that would be an interesting contest. I mean, I have to imagine that I've never actually seen a Braille printer in person. Now I kind of want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, and
So,
we got
so your social media, like your content, you predominantly, at least now, I feel like when we first became mutuals, you weren't doing this as much, but you do readings of like
Mhm.
poetry and stories and stuff like that.
Yep.
And just kind of take advantage of having one of those voices. And
Yeah, I've been told that.
yeah.
But yep, I originally got on TikTok too because I was going to promote my art. And it it was okay. It went all right. And
Sorry, I have your art, the art that Tyler
oh,
got. I
okay.
have it here, and I meant to put it so I could like, and then it's like around here somewhere, but I think it's behind me.
Oh, I love that piece. That was so much fun to do. And then I did one for Tyler, and that one turned out really well too. So
Yeah.
I think she has more artwork of mine than my mother. But so I started out, it was COVID. So had been furloughed from my job. So I was on unemployment and basically had nothing to do. So I decided to start really taking my art seriously in the sense of trying to sell it. I wanted to put it on t-shirts and things like that. And there was one video that kind of took off. It didn't really even go viral. It just got promoted by another artist, and it just I got a lot of followers from it. I think I gained like 400 followers in the span of like 3 days. So it was just amazing. I mean, which is really when 400 followers, when you talk about like, videos going viral, it's like, it's nothing,
But it's 400 people. Can you imagine being in a room
Right.
trying to speak to 400 people? I mean, to me, I don't
Yeah.
like people who like have a lot of followers and they're like, "Oh, I'm not getting any likes," and you look and they have like 6,000 likes, and
Oh, that drives me
I'm
nuts.
like, dude, you need some perspective because
Yes.
even when I had 6,000 followers and I had days where I got like a decent amount of likes or whatever, and I had days I had little, it was like whatever engagement I got made me happy because that's a person that
Yeah.
I got to interact with and make smile, like, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, and I think for me, it was the genuineness of the people that started following me. They were all other artists. They were because I do primarily horror related art. So it was fans of horror and things like that. And they were, watching the full video. They were doing all of the things that you would hope that other people do when they, watch the whole video, like it, comment, share it, all of the things that help push the content to the algorithm. Um, and I find that a lot of the people that I'm mutuals with, um, especially people that I've been mutuals with since COVID, um, are still very um, supportive and positive. And when I go and I look at my analytics, what I find is that, out of 100 and some views, because sometimes my videos barely crack 100, I will have, like 10% that watch the entire video, which, I mean,
that's pretty good retention
that's
rate.
that's a really good retention rate. I would rather have 200 views and a 10% retention rate than have 1,000 views and have, less than 1%, you
Yeah.
know, and have people literally they're just scrolling and liking and scrolling and liking, and they're like 2 seconds is like the average view time.
Yep.
Um,
That's,
I
I
would,
think mine's like 1.6 or something. It's, yeah, that's like,
it's
and it's just
it's
been that
crazy.
way. And I'm like, it's a puppet video that's 5 seconds long. You couldn't have, you know?
Yep. Yep. And I love your puppet videos. I really do. I always, but I also, I mean, you've done a lot of longer videos lately where
Yeah,
you're,
my personal account has always I've always had like long stuff. I did go through and like delete a lot at one point. So there's not as many there anymore. And a lot of them are private, but we're mutual, so you would see them. But yeah, I
yeah.
do. So especially because my therapist, she has pancreatic cancer, so she's not. I don't have anyone to talk to, and she's been the person that I talked to for like the last 5 or 6 years every single week. And I've never had that kind of consistency in my life. So, like,
Hmm.
now when I have all these things going on, the only way that I can really process stuff and not feel like everything is just overwhelming me is to talk it out. And it's like, I don't I don't know where else to go. So I just put it there. And
Yeah,
the act of doing it helps. I don't really know if anyone I think some people probably do watch all the way to the end, but I think most people don't. But
I
it's one of
do.
those things like for me, I don't have a good attention span for videos. So I will put it on and like listen to it while I'm doing stuff or whatever. Like if somebody has a long
Hmm.
video and I actually
Yeah.
want to know what's going on. Um, but yeah, it yeah, it's I don't know. It is what it is. I can't like sometimes I do funny short stuff and
Hmm.
then sometimes I just have something to say and I can't niche. I'm never gonna, you
That's,
know.
yeah. I mean, I I do a lot. Primarily now, I've switched over to mostly voiceover and voice acting content because I've decided through the encouragement of my mutuals that that's something I should be doing. And I've actually had now two professional voice actors say, yes, you should do this. So I've decided to just throw everything into it and kind of push my art to the back burner. Um, And what's funny about that is that now when I do art, I actually enjoy it more because there's no pressure to make content. There's no pressure to post it and try to sell it and all that stuff. Now I'm doing it for pure, just for the joy of making art. And it's
Yeah.
so much more fulfilling. I mean, the voice acting stuff, I do very much enjoy it. Especially with a lot of the poetry. Because there is something about poetry that speaks to people in one way or another. Everybody's going to find a poem that hits them and identifies with them. I've had that so many times
Not
where people,
everybody.
no, I know.
I'm the person I like dirty limericks and that's about it. Like
I should find some of those.
yeah, I was gonna say if you do that, I will make puppet videos to them. So
Okay, that's a deal.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
deal. Yeah. But it's I get a lot of people that come back and say, "Hey, this came up right when I needed it." I do um and then some of the newer stuff that I'm doing is sort of like monologue type stuff. The one that I posted on Sunday about fatherhood, I had a couple people private message me saying that, that it hit them because they had lost their father recently, things like that. And that is so satisfying
Yeah.
and fulfilling. It gives my what I do purpose. And it's like, do I care if I only get 100 views or 150 views or 200? Yes, because I want to reach more people. But if one person makes a comment like that, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
I am on the same page with you. I some of the stuff I do is just to make people laugh. And I do that when I leave the house. When I go to the grocery
mhm.
store, my goal is to make the cashiers at least smile, right?
Yep,
Like
same thing.
I just it's great. I enjoy that like connection, that moment of connection, and to know that I've given them those good chemicals and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, that's, the fun stuff. And then sometimes with my personal account, I would post, I haven't been doing as much lately just because I kind of like, making content's like a lot of work. So like,
Hmm.
like I'm gonna make dinner and then I'm gonna record it. That's gonna like double at minimum the amount of time it takes me to make dinner. Plus I have to edit the video. But I used to do videos of like having medical procedures and stuff like that and kind of share that experience. And then I have people come in who are like, I never got a lot of views, but they're people who would go search because I have these things that are not common. So if someone's going to
Hmm.
look for it, it's probably my video is going to pop up. And then they come in and start asking me questions and stuff like that. And I really like that as well because it's like I was able to give somebody information so that they can prepare for this thing that they're really nervous about, or that
Right.
they didn't understand. And because I like deep dive everything, I have a lot of information as well.
Sure.
And that I really enjoy that. Like kind of like when I first started doing the podcast, that was my thought was I was gonna info dump about medical stuff. And then it took me another 3 years to actually start the podcast because of imposter syndrome and life
Yeah.
things. And then in COVID, I didn't have any privacy because everybody's in the house, so it was like hard.
Hmm.
And so I made the TikTok. I went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my TikTok. I'm going to make an account on TikTok because I don't know anybody there, so I can just practice talking there without, you know, um, without really having to think too much about it or feeling like I'm putting myself out there because I've always been behind the camera. Like I used to do photography, and when I worked, I was always a behind the scenes kind of person. And so putting myself in
Hmm.
front of it was like that was like some sleepless nights there. And um and then that like I started making friends, and then someone was like, you should play with puppets because I didn't know anything about TikTok when I made my account. So the fact that it's kind of like a sandbox where people play with each other instead of
Hmm.
being like you're copying me, people actually tend to enjoy other people playing with the same thing and doing the same thing as them. Like there's like a shared joy there that like American culture tends not be very good at. And I
Yeah.
really, really like that about TikTok. And so I started getting like interested in that. I was like, I don't think I can do the lip syncing. I'm not a good actor. I feel like I wouldn't be good at that. And this person I was talking to was like, why not puppets? And the ADHD went, fuck, I need a puppet. Like, and, and then it was like I was doing the puppets, and I had become mutuals with Robot Liz. And then she was like, why don't you just try the makeup? And then the ADHD was like, why don't I just try the makeup? Like, and
Right.
it just kind of so then TikTok just took me on this trip for like a year where I started doing art and doing all this other stuff that I'd never done before. And then I started the podcast. And it was like in the beginning it was just me babbling, and then eventually it evolved into this thing where I had like the guests and stuff. Um and it's been interesting because of, kind of utilizing the social media space to finally get to this point. And a lot of my guests are people I connected to on there as well, which is
Right.
cool. But
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of listeners. But the people who do listen say that they really enjoy the conversations. They find them interesting, relatable, whatever. And then my voice is
Yeah.
relaxing, I guess. So
Hmm.
that I've heard that a lot. I don't hear it. I just hear annoying in my head, but you know.
That's, you know what? I kind of do the same thing with my voice. I'm going, it's not that good. I just, but then everybody tells me otherwise. I'm like, all right, I'll just accept what you're telling me, or at least I'll try to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've had
TikTok has
people.
been amazing. It
Yeah.
really has.
I after my account got banned, I lost that. I don't really
Yeah.
I don't even like open the app on a daily basis anymore. And I lost all my sounds, and I want to make content again, but it's been really hard to push through and prioritize that over all the other things that I either want to do or need to do because I have
Hmm.
this both resentment that I lost my account and there was no way for me to get it back, and that nobody cared that I lost my account. Like
Yeah.
I've seen so many people be banned and then the people around them get together and like mass report to be like, hey, let's get this account back. or when they start a new account, they help them rebuild. And I had to go to
Hmm.
people and be like, can you share this? And only a few people actually share it. Most people just repost it, which does nothing.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't want to waste my content space on you. So it just completely like shifted my perspective on it, where I'm like, well, I'm gonna do that if it's fun for me, but I'm not
Hmm.
gonna put the energy into it the way that I used to, because it was like super draining for me anyways, but I kept being like, it's gonna be worth it, it's gonna be worth it. And
Yeah.
after all of that, and the fact that when I stopped posting when I got sick, nobody noticed, I went, nah, I'm just when I get back to it, it's gonna be for me, and I'll take notice of the few mutuals I have that are,
Hmm.
also supportive, and otherwise I'm just gonna not I'm just not gonna, you know.
Yeah. No, and I have like, I try to, like, on Instagram, posting things to my story and stuff like that. And um I, half the time the stitching in TikTok, half the time that doesn't work.
Right,
Things like that. But I find it interesting that people are surprised when I post something to my story on Instagram. Like, they are literally genuinely surprised that I did that. And I'm like, no, this is how it's supposed to be. There's
right,
so many people that I don't just think of them as mutuals. They've become friends. And that's what friends do, right? I mean, you support each other, you prop each other up. And I mean, I'm in a situation where, because of some severe mental health issues that I went through, um, I lost a lot of local friends. Um, so when I got on TikTok and started to meet people who are like-minded, just as weird as I am, it really, as I say, I found my tribe, and
right.
that really was what happened. And what's the interesting thing, and I don't know if you can see it, but I have a tattoo. Really hard to see on the camera.
Yeah,
It's a
awkward
it's a
angle.
yeah, it's a rubber ducky, and I got it on my birthday a few weeks ago. The long story short is that I met my best friend Megan, um, on TikTok. It's um, it just Our friendship developed over time, and we are literally best friends. It is such a unique friendship because it would not exist without social media, without TikTok. That friendship, the best friendship that I've ever had in my life, to say that she saved my life is not an exaggeration. Um, I had a really bad breakdown, and she stayed on the phone with me for 4.5 hours straight. And that was one of those. I was either going to end up taking a grippy sock vacation, if I didn't, you know. And she literally saved my life. So she came out for my 50th birthday, flew all the way from the West Coast in the Pacific Northwest to where I am in Rochester, New York, to spend an entire week with me. Why? Because it was my birthday, for no other reason. Like, I'm so not used to somebody doing something that big,
Right,
because to me it's big. She
right.
has two kids and a partner, and so she left them for a week to spend that whole week with me. And it was amazing. And we got matching tattoos. And she is somebody that I am going to know. She's ride or die. We're going to know for the
Yeah,
rest of my life. That friendship would not exist without TikTok. She's turning 35 this year, so she's 15 years younger than me. Um, she lives 3,000 miles away. I, how do we meet otherwise?
Right.
And there are so many things that had to happen um, in order for us to get to that point where we crossed paths. And like, I'm not one to believe in fate or destiny, but man, does that make me question it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because what is this, you know? It's crazy. I mean, and I have so many good friends that some all of my best friends at this point are all people that I've met online on
Yeah.
TikTok and Instagram, and it is such a um, it's been so good for me. I mean, really therapeutic, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think like it's interesting because there's this sort of like mindset around meeting people online as if it's like weird or whatever. And I don't understand how it's any different than meeting somebody at the bar or if you're out like hiking.
Hmm.
It's you're doing it to me, it's the same. It's just that you don't have the opportunity for the in-person familiarity right away,
Yes.
right? Which for me
Yep.
is an advantage because I need time to get to know people and I need to see patterns and stuff like that. And in person
Yeah.
can like distract that. But
Hmm.
for me, like most of my friendships have been online, and once the World Wide Web came into effect, they started being far away as well. So like,
Yeah.
like I have a friend that we used to write like 20-page emails to each other and just maintained it for years. And it was
Wow.
like, and he's in Ireland, and I didn't meet, I went to, so I had a buddy that I met online. We talked for like a year, and then I flew out to Ireland and hung out with him for like 3 weeks. This was like 99 around there,
Oh, wow.
and just had a really good time. And he was like so surprised that I was exactly the same in person as I was online. And this is a compliment that I've gotten. Well, I call it a compliment. It's an
Sure.
observation, but it to me it's like, I like the fact that I'm in sync. Like, that I don't there's no like facade online or whatever. But he was so worried I was going to be different. And then like within 5 minutes, we were doing the same shit we did online,
Yep.
but
Yep.
his one of his buddies never came out to hang out with us. Like we played D&D, he skipped that and stuff because he'd just broken up with his ex who was American. He had this whole association thing, and so he's like, I don't
Oh,
know. And then like somehow we started emailing after I got home, and it just like clicked, and we talk on Discord like most days all these years later. And a
that's
lot
amazing.
of I have like online friends I don't talk to all the time, but we're still connected through pretty much any social media thing. We'll find each other on the new when a new app comes out and everybody joins it. I met them
Hmm.
through LiveJournal, lots of connections that way.
Wow.
Um,
That's going back.
yeah, and then yeah, so it's like every single platform. There's always at least one person that I keep, you
Hmm.
know, but they're all online, so they're far away. Most of them, I go to them. So like what
Yeah.
what your best friend did for you, which is amazing.
Hmm.
I'm that person. I do that for people,
Yeah.
but that I, you know.
Yeah.
So my friend
Yeah.
in Ireland did come visit me twice. And it was partially to get a vacation and get away, but also just like so we could hang out in person. So I would just like when he'd
Hmm.
show up, we'd get in the car and just drive all over California and you
Nice.
know, and just have fun and stuff. But
Hmm.
most people I don't know if I'll ever meet them. Like I would love to
Hmm.
do a road trip up to Washington because I have a big chunk of people up there that like are
I do
really
too.
they were like after I got sick, everybody kind of went away, and I, I was kind of expected because most of my friendships, in-person friendships, are activity based. So they're people
Hmm.
that I'm just, like I would ride motorcycles with or go hiking with or whatever. They weren't like people that I was gonna hang around and like have conversations with. Um, so me not being available to hang out, it makes sense that they would go away. Um, and then I got invited into this group on Facebook that's like it's basically like people that are smartasses and like cats. And and a lot of them have health issues and stuff. And
Hmm.
it was just sort of like a safe space. And then when I started making content, started making art, like I started painting, doing the face paint stuff, there were several people in that group who were just, it was like they understood the gravity of me being able to do more. Because when I
Hmm.
first got sick, I was on a liquid diet. I couldn't drive. I was too sick to drive. Sometimes just getting up to go pee, I would end up having to lay on the floor of the bathroom for an hour before I could get up to go
Oof.
back to the couch. Like I I lost, like I went from being this person who did like so much stuff to not being able to function, having no idea if I was even going to survive it because I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Right.
So when I started making the content on TikTok and all that, it was like I had these people who just celebrated that. And I've never had that, like even
Yeah.
as a kid, if I did well at school, nobody gave a shit. Like there's
Hmm.
like, they didn't really care if I didn't do well. There was just, so I was very used to just the silence of indifference. And you get
Hmm.
that so much online anyways, right? There's sort
Yeah.
of this like people who say they like what you do, but then they don't engage with your stuff, and you're like, well, how do I know if, like,
Yeah,
and so to
exactly.
have these people who just like they signed up for my they pushed me to make a Patreon, they signed up for it, and that like has been such a learning experience for me. Like I didn't even know that that was a thing I could or should or needed to learn, which is to people being nice to me and being supportive and being interested in what I'm
Hmm.
doing. And I learned
Yep.
that I have this empty canyon, like Grand Canyon size, like chasm in me for like positive supportive attention, where I'm just like,
Right.
yes, bring it.
Yeah, it's and I find a lot of like again my closest friends online are the biggest cheerleaders that I've ever had in my life. People that have encouraged me to do the voiceover work, and people that are always praise about the artwork and stuff like that. It I think having that feedback when you've never really had it, especially when you don't get it from the people you're supposed to get it from,
Right, right.
that's hard. Um, I liken it to like I lived for most of my life, I lived 2.5 hours away from my father. I spent from the time I was 6 until he passed away in 2010. I spent exactly 0 birthdays with him. He didn't drive 2.5 hours to come and see me on my birthday. Like that's 2.5 hours is nothing.
Right.
And when you don't, so I never had a positive relationship with my birthday. So when I
Yeah.
have somebody who's going to fly 3,000 miles and spend not just my birthday, but an entire week with me, I couldn't process it.
Yeah. I can't
Like
I'm actually like
blows my mind.
I'm so stressed out about my 50th birthday because like birthdays are not, they're very depressing for me. The best birthdays I have are the ones where I find something to do and don't talk to anybody else.
Hmm.
And every time I try to have like a party or whatever, it always ends up, like not about me, you know
Yeah.
so and then I'll become passive and go into that. Like I got into this routine of going down to San Diego on my for my birthday, to see some friends, and they my birthday wasn't acknowledged. I on my birthday I would be helping them set up for this party that they do for their neighborhood and stuff, and my birthday was never acknowledged, and that's not what I wanted, but it felt safer to do something with people I liked, knowing what to expect than to hope for anything else, right?
Hmm.
And the childhood stuff, I totally, yeah. I mean, I found out, so my biological father, he basically signed away his rights to me because he never wanted kids when I was like a year. My mom married someone else and they adopted me. But he lived like 4 blocks from us, and I had no idea. I found out when I was like early teens that this guy that was my progenitor was just blocks away. I had beaten up his stepson at the park, had even no idea who the kid was. Like, he was a fucking dick. And then I
That's
went to
amazing.
when I finally met him and my biological father, I went to the house and the kid was there and he was like, not you, and like walked.
That's amazing. That is
And
absolutely amazing.
it's so funny. But like, my dad, my adopted dad, the guy who he took an oath in front of a fucking judge saying that he was gonna be he left when I was like 3, went and had his own kids and never made an effort. Like his kids got everything. I would go there sometimes for Christmas and watch them have Christmas. I would help them set
My
up
God.
the Christmas shit the day before. I like that's how I coped was by helping. So I
Hmm.
would help them set up Christmas to make it exciting for my siblings. And then I would stay in my brother's room because he couldn't sleep. He was so excited because he knew he was going to get all the things on his list, like, bicycles and video games and stuff that I never had access to. Um, and and sure, I'd keep him in bed until like 5 in the morning is the best I could do. We would sing silly songs and I'd make him laugh and keep him distracted. And then finally get up and they would have these piles. And if they did Christmas at the my stepmom's family's property, which is like a vineyard or whatever, so they're kind of posh, they would sit in a big circle because there was like 7 siblings plus all the cousins and stuff and give each other presents. I was not in the circle and I was not included, even though they knew I was going to be there. So I was like watching them. And I wanted to go outside. There was like this redwood patch and I could go outside and it was creepy and fun to play in. And they made me stay there. They're like, you have to stay. So I get so depressed as it comes into like my birthday's in December and I got the same treatment around my birthday. And, my mom she had her things. But it probably would have been a lot easier on me if I didn't have the comparison with the other siblings to just have like the the grumpy mom who didn't have enough money for stuff, right? It would have been easier to live with that. And
Hmm.
it's been hard. Like my 40th birthday, I tried to plan something. I was pretty sick, so I was on a liquid diet. No one thought to accommodate me. No one thought, well, she's really unwell. Maybe we should do something that will be comfortable for her. No, I watched everybody eat fucking burritos. Well, I had a fucking smoothie beforehand and I sat there nauseous because the food smells made me nauseous. And then I went in the bathroom and cried
Oh.
because I couldn't eat. And like, that's all I remember. I don't remember what else we did.
Hmm.
I have a friend who tries. She's local and she's like my one friend that I see like where we can just hang out and talk. Most of my local friends are activity based, so I only see them when I'm well enough to go for walks or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll like hang out and have a meal and or have coffee. And she brought for one of my birthdays, she brought me a balloon. And this is important because I have like this whole thing about balloons from when I was a kid, but she has a phobia of balloons.
Oh,
So
wow.
she got me a balloon that says the Leigh on it because we call each other the and our names. And
Hmm.
she comes to the front door. I open the front door. I see her face. I don't see the balloon because it's up there, and her eyes are fucking wild. They're fucking wild. And
Oh.
I'm like, what the what? Like, what's out there? Freddy Krueger out there, like, And then I see the balloon, and I'm like, because I know that she has this
Hmm.
phobia, right? That's like I also have that. I hang on to that as like being one of the highlights of my, you know,
That's a friend.
birthday. Yeah. So
That's a friend. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
been, because she went through her stuff, so she was gone for a long time. The last like year and a half or so, she's been more. We've been able to talk more. It's nice because
Mm.
you know I just dropped off a rice cooker on her porch. We had an extra one, and she's been talking about how her rice never comes out consistently,
Hmm.
and she has to do an anti-inflammatory diet because of she has sarcoidosis. So there's not a
Mm.
lot you can do except to try to get your inflammation down. So that's like me.
Right.
She has to cook. It's a lot of work to do an anti-inflammatory diet, and I was like, what can I do to help? This is something I can do. Yes.
Yep.
Dropped it off. She
Yep.
wasn't expecting it. I like ran away like a goblin.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have never had good luck with rice cookers.
Really?
I always seem to burn
What
it.
what kind of rice cookers? Do you get the ones with like the glass top and you just push a single button?
No, the one I had, the one that I had, I think had a lid that like actually snapped closed. It was all I now I do it with my I get I have the non-stick liner and I do it with my Instant Pot.
Okay. Yeah,
So
My Instant
that
Pot
comes
is
out
an
good.
asshole. It wouldn't seal. Like after like the third use, it something happened to it. I tried buying new seals for it, but I don't think that was the problem. It wouldn't consistently seal, so half the time
Wow.
I couldn't get the thing to pop up, and so it was very rude. But I love that you could do hard boiled eggs in that, and they're like perfect every
Hmm.
time. But
Hmm.
I now have a very fancy rice cooker that my son got me.
Nice.
That is, it will if you there's a low carb setting for the rice, so it actually will boil up so it catches all the starches in the steamer thing, so it lowers the carb thing on the rice. I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't worry about that, but I just started doing my eggs in it as well, and they come out because they steam. But it makes my
Yeah.
salmon so freaking good. It's like the salmon comes out perfect every single
Oh
time.
wow.
But
Yeah. See, I'm thinking I might replace my Instant Pot because I had when it was myself and my two kids at home. Um, I got the big one. I got the 8 quart one. And that damn thing is too big now. It's just me and my oldest daughter, and it's so like if I want to cook like 2 cups of rice, it like just barely covers the bottom of the
right,
pot, and I'm like, this is
right.
not good.
Yeah,
But I love cooking with that thing though. It's it
really
really and I
convenient.
yeah, and I have an air fryer that actually doubles as like a convection oven where you can actually bake with it. You're not baking
Hmm.
anything huge, but I've made like a cookie in it.
Yeah.
Just one singular cookie.
Yeah, I had the inserts for doing like cakes and stuff, but I'm not much of a baked goods person, so I never got around to it. But what? I was gonna say something and I forgot. Oh, you with the 8 quart one, you could probably fit most spaghetti squashes in there though. That was one of the things that I found really convenient was doing artichokes and spaghetti squash in it.
Hmm.
Um, which if you haven't had spaghetti squash, you should try it. But
I have a love-hate relationship with squash.
so okay,
I-
spaghetti squash is a little different. It's in the family, but you know how like butternut squash and stuff, it has that like texture.
Mhm.
Spaghetti squash doesn't have that. It's like a little bit crunchier and it's actually stringy, so it literally looks like spaghetti. And so the
Yeah.
texture is different. It does have a little bit of the squash flavor, but if you
Mhm.
put like a good sauce on it and throw in some like I don't know, like chicken sausages or whatever you like to add in there,
Right.
it's not really noticeable. And
Mm.
I freaking love it. And I don't like most other squashes. Like the
Yeah.
exception being the Japanese pumpkin. I love that in some curry, but that's
Oh,
about it.
yeah. I I've had it. I've had different squashes cooked really well. The turnoff was always that squash dish that you would have like at like Thanksgiving. It literally looks like puke to me. I mean, it's
Is
like
that
this pile.
like a yam
It's
dish or
no, it's like this pile of it's like mashed potatoes but with squash. And it's
I don't
just
think I've ever seen that.
orange. It's like orange and it's just lumpy and I'm just going, I don't it kind of looks like baby food. And I'm just like, nope. I'm
I've
out.
only seen yam dishes or where they like do these like big baked things and it's kind of when you serve it it's kind of similar to what you're saying and I don't like yams or sweet potatoes either. So,
I don't like sweet
um
potatoes. Can't do it.
yeah. Yeah.
Sweet potato fries, no thank you.
Yeah, the honestly, I don't like most Thanksgiving food in general, so I guess it's good I never have anywhere to go. But I like mashed
Right.
potatoes, and if they do like green beans or something, and they don't put onions in them, then I will like it. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like turkey. I don't like stuffing. I don't.
Oh, I love
So
stuffing.
yeah, I don't like any of that. Plus, like I'm allergic to allium, so that means like no
Oh,
onions, no
okay.
garlic,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
nobody's gonna accommodate me. So
That's gotta be that's gotta be tough if you eat out.
yeah, I have to be very careful. Some stuff like I can get miso soup and as a green onions, I just scoop them out and it's not usually a
Mhm.
problem, especially because they, you know, They just add them in, so they're not in there very long. But yeah, like there's a Chinese place we'll go to, and usually they're pretty good about like if the dish doesn't normally have garlic or whatever, it's just onions. You say no onions, not a problem. But the last time we went there, I was like, no onions. And I guess the cook was just like, oh, clutch the pearls, no onions. Well, I'm gonna add a
How dare
fucking
you?
bucket of fucking garlic. So the
Oh
delivery
God.
person shows up and I could smell the garlic before I open the front door. And I just look at my housemate. I'm like, well, you're eating that because I'm not. Like
Yeah.
he gets a
Wow.
lot of free food because of shit like that. Or like you order a hamburger and you say no onions, it's literally an option and they still put it on there. And then I'm like, I can't eat it. We get a, like with DoorDash, they give you credit, but you don't like get
Hmm.
a so usually I don't do delivery partially because I need to be able to correct it if they screw it up. But I have my
Yep.
safe places, and then I otherwise like I make my own pasta sauces and soups and stuff like that. And some things like I can do like chana masala and the onion. They do have onions, but the onions are so cooked down that as long
Hmm.
as I don't eat it multiple days in a row, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I can do it on occasion. But like raw onions will destroy me for about 4 days.
Oh,
Like my
that's rough.
entire intestines just become inflamed, and then you know, it's very unpleasant.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
They
so
they
it's
they rebel against you.
yeah, they're very mean. I have pictures from a road trip where I was like for about 150 miles, I was stuck behind an onion truck. And then I
Oh,
got and it was like I just felt so it was like the movies, the like the death movies where they have the
oh, Final Destination.
yeah, to me it felt like a very Final Destination type threat going on there. Like so I like took a picture and then later posted and I was like, fuck you, onion truck.
That's that's awesome. That's amazing, but I'm sure it was rough too. Holy cow. Just
Yeah,
I could, yeah.
it didn't smell,
That would be
thankfully.
crazy.
It's not like going through. There's a place Gilroy here where they grow like garlic and green onions, and you drive through there. It's like close up everything. When I was on the motorcycle, there's no way to protect yourself from the outside
Oh,
smells, and I honestly can't tell you which is worse: the middle of California where the cows are when it's 110 out, or where the garlic grows. It's
I know the cow smell very well because my grandparents lived out in a very relatively rural area. They were in a small town, literally had one stoplight. And there was 2,000 people at the time that lived in that town. It's gone down actually since then. But you drive out of town, it's one street, goes right through the town, and you drive either way, and you're in cow country and all the smells that come with it. And it's
yep.
like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this whole section in the middle of California that's just it's just cows, and they're meat cows. So they're not, it's just yeah. The area I'm from, very lots of cows as well, but
Hmm.
they're mostly dairy cows. And that's like a whole other vibe because they're like spread out and they get to wander around and they stare at you when you yell at them and there's a lot of yelling moo out the car window in my life. And this what smells there are the chickens. Oh my God. Chicken
Oh,
farms are like because there's lots of egg farms and they're like I feel like I'm being poisoned when you smell a collection of chicken poop. It's not, it's just yeah, it doesn't smell safe.
I can't even like you see them online in videos every once in a while where you see the chicken factories almost. I cannot even imagine how bad it smells in there.
Yeah, I can't. Ugh,
Ugh.
yeah, and I
But
know there's like health concerns around chicken poop, so that's like
yeah,
yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
yeah, it's just, and I think most of them up there because California has like rules around how chickens are treated these days, anyways. But like I think most
Hmm.
of the ones in that county are free range and stuff, and I know they're not like they still have their problems, but they're at least a little less like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, it's all mostly dairy out here. We've got a couple of dairy collectives um, where it's just a bunch of farms that feed all the milk into this one place. Um, but yeah, it's crazy driving by the cows. And it's always fun for the kids because they were like, Daddy cows, Daddy cows. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like going, roll up the windows, sakes. And
yeah.
then by the time you roll up the windows, it's too late.
Yeah, you can
The
taste
smell's
it.
already there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
yeah, it
crazy.
is. There's like yeah, there's so many like you go driving on the back roads and there's just like farms like everywhere. You don't really think about it just because like when you're in sort of where the cities and all the people are, but it's like 5 minutes out and it's just cows and just all the stuff. And then they're just kind of everywhere and you can actually reach roads where there's no fences and they have the cow warning system. It's a
Yeah,
warning system for the cows, not for us, but
right.
where when you go over it, it goes, your tires do that noise. I
Yeah.
hate that thing. If you hit
Oh,
that in the corner,
yeah.
going fast enough, you're gonna end up on the wrong side of the
Oh God.
road.
So I've never been to the West Coast. Um Actually I've been up and down the East Coast. I've never been west of Ohio. So it's like I'm itching to do some road tripping. I actually had this thing all planned where if I can get a job where I can work remotely, I wanted to get like a small camper. And I had it all planned out where I would drive across I would drive across the northern part of the United States and stop where people were and stay a couple of days here, a couple of days there. And then I would go down through California because I have friends that are in Northern California and I have friends that are in the middle of California. And then I have like three or four friends that are in Southern California. And then I would end up driving across into New Mexico and Texas, and then to northern Florida, up through to South Carolina and North Carolina, and then into Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and then back home. Like, and I had it all trained. It was like it was going to be this like 2.5 month excursion and I had the number of miles all planned out, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I called it my my USA friend tour. So where I was
Yeah.
going to stop and see all of my friends that I've met online. I was going to stop and
So
see
you know
all of
what's
them.
really funny is I had pretty much the exact same thing planned, approximately the same like time, except I was going to go up to Washington and go the opposite like
Hmm.
direction as what you planned. As I wasn't planning for
Yeah.
Florida though, but but I wanted to go all the way because I have friends up in like Maryland and stuff, so I wanted to go all the way over there. I have been over there, like I've flown over there to like photograph weddings and stuff for friends, but I haven't really gotten to, spend much time. So it's still like kind of there, like maybe,
Hmm.
but it's like things keep happening. Like when I sold my house, I was like, I'll put money aside. And then when I can manage this, I'll do that. And then it was like, oh, life is going to eat all of your house money up. So
Yeah.
like, I don't have that. But so now I'm like, okay, I am in the process of suing my landlords at the last place because of the mold issue.
Oh yeah.
And if I can manage, if I get a good enough payout, it's not gonna, they don't like, so the way the reimbursement works is anything that the contract, like, because the lawsuit's based on breaking the contract, the lease, basically the agreement of having safe housing. So that part, like getting the rent back, that's pretty straightforward. But getting compensation for like your stuff, it's less straightforward. They basically evaluate everything at the used price to start with. So that's where the
Yeah.
haggling starts. It's very rude to me. That's like, how are you making people whole if you're not, you know? But I have like, because all of my crafting stuff and all that was impacted. So it could, maybe be enough that I could put something aside that could be kind of like this thing that I build on so that eventually I could do the road trip and actually go see these people in
Hmm.
person and just kind of take pictures along the way and thank you for listening. Join me next week for the continuation of this conversation. Want to support my creative chaos and get access to exclusive content? Check out my Patreon. Have a great week.